The first block here is introductory. So how to be a good bird watcher, what to bear in your mind when you watch birds. Because remember that we are not watching birds for the sake of the birds only. We are watching them because we want them to tell something about themselves and the nature that they are part of. Let's start with binoculars. Binoculars, this is the most important and the most basic tool for every bird watcher. Each binocular consists of two parts. We have the eyepiece, usually smaller, and the objective, usually wider. You put the eyepiece to your eyes, and the objective you aim at the object you want to see. Not the other way around, because then you are not going to see it good, okay? Adjust the angle of two parts to the distance between your eyes, and this central wheel is used for focusing. So roll it until the image is sharp, which you see, okay? If you ever watch birds in the sky, be very, very careful not to watch sun with binoculars. Each bird consists of each observation of four components: shape and size, colors, voice, behavior. These are four parts of the bird that when you watch it, that is the difference between looking at a bird and watching a bird. When you are watching a bird, bear in mind these four components. So let's look at what are the birds doing. So whenever you are watching a bird, try to watch it as long as you can, see what it is doing, particularly when you do it with the kids. Try to think why the bird is doing what it is doing. Crack! That's the raven's call, very short. Crack! In Polish we call it kruk, like the sound it makes, kruk. They are most probably juvenile birds, because as I told you, all their wing feathers and tail feathers look the same. They have complete wings and complete tail. But there was also an adult raven circling, and its wings and tail were not complete, because it's now molting. It's replacing its feathers. Old feathers are coming out, new feathers are growing. So what traces do we have here? Feathers, exactly. So remember that when you are watching birds, it's not only birds that you see, but you can also see traces that the birds left. It's a little bit different with birds and mammals. When you are dealing with mammals, you more often see traces than you see animals themselves. Yes? When you deal with birds, you more often see the birds and not as often see the traces. But feathers are those traces that you can find most often. And when you are looking for traces of birds, may each trace tell you a story. It's like Sherlock Holmes. You see a feather, and what story can these feathers tell us? Why they are here? These feathers could be molted. Each and every year, birds molt, so they replace their old feathers, and the new feathers are growing. How can we tell from the feathers that they are not being taken by a predator? Yes, they are perfect. I mean, they are not damaged. What else? Where they were clean, exactly. Did you find them in one place only or scattered around? Scattered around, yes. When a predator gets a bird, usually plucks the feathers in one single place, and the place is usually concealed. If we found these feathers in one place under a tree, there we could think that probably the bird could be caught by a predator. Quill, this is that part that is inside the skin. It is intact, and the feathers that I gave you have the quills broken. Or more correct, not broken, but bitten off. So not only we can tell that that bird was taken by a predator, but also we can tell it was a mammal predator, because mammals bite off the feathers. And birds of prey like sparrowhawks, for example, or the peregrine falcon, pluck the feathers out. So when you see a group of feathers lying on the ground with quills intact, it means that bird was taken by a bird of prey. When the quills are beaten off, like that, it means it was a mammal predator. This one was probably caught by a fox or by a cat. So here we have another traces of birds. We have the nests of jackdaws this time. What I wanted you to show during these 45 minutes, to be a good bird watcher, you need binoculars, guide, and you must have your ears and eyes open constantly. And remember, always watch the birds in connection with what they do and where they are, so that the bird can tell you a story about themselves and about the nature that they are part of.
I have a question for you, and try to answer the question working in your groups. How to encourage children to observe the nature? How to encourage children? Try to find a solution. I have a paper for you if you need. The most important when we work with children active, we have to remember about interesting issue, topic, subject is very, very important. We have to remember about interesting action, you thought about it, and about independent work. With equipment, various tools, when children can be active. And another task is for you. You have to stand up. You have 7-10 minutes to observe this area and find something interesting for you and for children. Try to find interesting materials which you would like to use to construct classes for children. Do you understand? Yes? Okay. Try to build worksheets for children using your materials, one or more elements of these materials, okay? Try to answer the question. What do you want to observe? Why do you want to observe? And how do you want to observe this? For task, try to prepare tasks for children.
Task is to handle the